I posted about Claude Cowork on LinkedIn last week and it went viral. So I thought I'd just make a video about it. I'm Harry, I've built and exited a business and now I help others do the same. And in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about how to set up Claude Cowork in a simple step-by-step guide. Let's go. So most people using AI in 2026 have been using it completely wrong. They were previously just typing in clever prompts, copying the output, pasting it somewhere else. There's a completely different way to use Claude now. And I think a lot of people haven't actually even touched it, or some people haven't even heard of it as well. And that's called Claude Cowork. So it doesn't really work like a traditional chatbot. It lives in your computer. It can actually read files, and it can also write documents or tables or anything like that and actually save them straight or directly onto your computer as well. And the biggest thing is when it doesn't understand something, it'll ask you questions before actually going spitting out some random AI slop. So firstly, what is Cowork? With a previous AI chatbot, the workflow was the following. You type something in, it responds, you copy that output, and then you put it wherever it needs to go. You're the one who's doing all the moving and whatnot, and the AI kind of just sits there in a bit of a box in the back end, just waiting for you to give it another prompt, basically. Whereas Cowork is slightly different. You can point it directly at a folder. It'll then read everything in that folder. And then when it creates something like a Word doc or a spreadsheet, it can then save it directly into that folder as well. So you've got everything stored within that simple file. So there's no uploading, no downloading, no copying and pasting. It just simply works inside your environment. And the biggest difference being, as I mentioned earlier briefly, if it doesn't understand a task at hand, it doesn't guess. It'll actually generate a form of questions which you then have to go through and answer in order to actually make sure it's giving you a really, really strong output. And that changes absolutely everything. So I simply have to describe what I want. Cowork will send me a little questionnaire with like 3 different questions on it. I can answer those questions, and then within 10 minutes, I can then have a look back at the document, and then it's all fully done and dusted, and I don't need to do anything. Okay, so let's get this set up. So the first step that you actually want to do is hop onto claude.com/download, click on the Mac OS or Windows or whatever you're using. I'm a Mac person, so I click that, it then downloads the file, and then just start going through the simple step-by-step process of getting that onto your system. Once you've actually got it on your system, it'll then pop up and just look like this. This is something that you're probably relatively familiar with and obviously already knows who I am. I've got a lot of different conversations and whatnot already happening. And then you've got these 3 different toggles at the top here. So this is chat, you've got Cowork, and then you've obviously got code as well on the right-hand side. Now, this is where we're going to be focusing on today, directly within Cowork. So one of the most important steps that I think a lot of people do or get wrong when they're actually starting to use Cowork is making sure they've actually got it set up correctly. So this is one of the biggest mindset shifts with Cowork. It's not necessarily how good your prompt is. It's all about providing Cowork with some amazing context to ensure that it's giving the right outcomes that you want. So here's what you want to do. You want to open up a text editor. So you can use Notepad if you're on Windows, or just text edit if you're then using Mac. So you want to be creating a folder which has 3 separate files in. These files are, as you can see here, about me.md, you've got brandvoice.md, and then you've got workingstyle.md. Now within About Me, the main focus for this is just showcasing who you are, what you do, and who you want to be targeting as well. So almost like putting in your ICP, your core offers and things like that. So that's simply the About Me page because that's all about me. We've also then got the brand voice. Now this is where you can go to a lot of information and detail. This is how you want to be communicating with your audience as well. And within this, all of the communication lines that I have is either on the phone, email, or mainly LinkedIn is where we do a lot of it. So I've actually inputted a load of different LinkedIn posts that I've created and published over the past week or so, just to try to give it as much context as possible. And then finally, you've just got the working style section. Now this is just simply, okay, I want to make sure they ask me questions when we're going through everything. I quite like a lot of detail, so I prefer longer answers, and then I can always then ask them to summarize them afterwards. And then I use Google for pretty much everything, so the Google stack is my preferred preference. Okay, so now that we've actually got all of those set up, before we move on to the next part as well, it is actually worth noting that you probably might find it quite useful to add an additional folder into there as well. Now this can be called memory.md, and this is where you can actually start saving all of the information and work that you've been doing within Cowork into that folder, just to ensure that it's consistently got some context as you're going through and starting to work with it even further. Right, so once you've actually got all of these folders set up in that simple folder, and you can see it here, as it says, Claude Cowork for Gather. There's all of the different files that we've got. I now can hop into this and tell Cowork to go and actually target it and point towards it. And I can say, right, here we go. Claude, I want to work in, this is the folder I want to be working in. There we go. I click allow, and then it's all done and dusted. And now it knows all of the context within those folders, and then I can then start talking to it. Once you've actually got those 3 or 4 files all set up, you now want to be having a look at your global instructions. So because Cowork has actually no memory between each sessions, unless you create the memory.md folder. But every time you open up a new conversation, it's going to be forgetting who you are, going to be forgetting what you do, going to be forgetting all of the context. And that's one of the main things that's frustrated a lot of people, I think, about Claude, and again, about all of these different AI tools as well. So the main fix for this is the global instructions. So all you have to do is head over to Cowork, click on Claude on the top left-hand side of the screen, click on settings, and then work your way down, and then find Cowork down here. Click onto this, you'll see global instructions here. You can then click on edit, and all you have to do is get the information that you've got about from your About Me page, and from your brand voice, and from your working styles as well. You can then copy that into here. So I'll just do it as an example. There we go. So I'll just do it here as an example. Boop. Hop into this, I can then paste that in there and then just click save. Okay, so that is now set up with all of the global instructions. So every time I have a new session with it, it already knows who I am and remembers everything about me. Okay, nice and simple. And that is basically just like a one-time setup sort of thing that you need to try to do at the start. What I would say as well, on the About Me page and on the branding and things like that, you probably need to put as much information and detail on as you possibly can, because the more information you give to it, the better the outcomes are going to be. Now that we've actually got all of that set up, we can then head back over to the chat. Here we go, back into it now, and then we can start actually giving it a simple task. So I've already actually found a simple task for it to do, but I'm just going to kind of showcase and tell you what I did. Basically, all I did was go onto Claude, where I go onto Anthropic. I then found a simple job, so head of global reseller partnerships. I then found that job spec. I saved this job spec onto my desktop, and then I pointed this directly at it. So I get Claude Code job spec. So if I point that there, I can click allow, that's fine. And then all I did was, previously as mentioned, can you anonymize this job spec so I can advertise it? It must not say who the hiring company is. Had a quick look at the folder at first. You could see the actual thing in there. As you can see, you can read through the document, you can see the full information, and then it's actually just giving me a simple summary, and it's down here. As you can see, it's actually gone in, it's found the document. Here's the anonymized version of it as well. And then the magic happens when I click on this. I can view the document. I don't have to save this anywhere. I haven't gone over and saved this into my files or anything like this. So it's super, super powerful to be able to already get pre-built documents into different files and folders for you. One of the biggest things about Claude Cowork is there's loads of different plugins that you can do. Now, without a plugin, Cowork is just a really good generalist. It can write, it can research, it can analyze things, and it can organize your whole computer if you wanted it to. Like one of the first things I did when I actually got it, but I wanted to give it a fairly simple task, was just, can you go and get rid of everything on my desktop, move it to bin, and then I asked it then, can you actually delete it from the bin? It can't actually do that because it needs a human prompt to be able to delete everything permanently, but then it was just simple enough for me to just start formalizing and just get all of my folders in place, and it's just such a simple tool to be able to do some things like that as well. So start off small, and then you can start working your way up to other slightly more tasking tasks. So as mentioned, without a plugin, Cowork is a really, really good generalist, but it doesn't know your industry's terminology or what a good output looks like for a specific role. So plugins fix that. And a lot of these plugins have already been pre-built. Anthropic have done an incredible job at getting absolutely every type of job they can think of in these actual plugins as well, to make everyone's lives a hell of a lot easier. They're coming out with new ones all the time as well. So just keep an eye on it, or just head over to X, because on x.com, which is previously Twitter, Claude often does a lot of the updates and posts a hell of a lot on there, so you'll be able to then keep track of everything coming through. All you have to do to actually get one of these plugins, you can then go into new task. I can then click on this little plus arrow. I can then click onto plugins. I can go to add a plugin, and then it just brings up this table. So I've already got the marketing plugin sorted. I've already got Slack updated as well. I can get productivity, finance, sales, enterprise search, data, legal, customer support, bio research, product management, human resources. There's an endless amount of different things that it can do. And just to give you some context on this as well, how powerful these are, there was a top law firm, which I believe they're a publicly listed business. Their share price dropped by 16% as soon as Anthropic dropped the legal installation on this as well. So whatever your role is, pick the relevant one for you. And so, for example, as mentioned, I've picked the marketing one. Now, I'm not a marketing manager or anything like that, but I do a lot of marketing. So I've used the marketing plugin before. And what you can do, we'll hop into here. Once you've actually downloaded it and you've got it there, it'll then show up that you've got the marketing one here as well. So you can go into this /plugins, click on marketing, and it'll give you all of the different commands that you can then start working with. So for instance, if I want to just do like a campaign plan, it'll then prompt it to give me a simple load of questions that I then can work through in order to actually start building out this campaign plan. So what campaign objective or product would I like to plan? Yeah, let's go for a new product feature. Okay, let's go. And because it's got because it can remember who I am from the global setup, it should be able to start drawing out some information about some context about me and then start talking about a new launch of a new product. So now that we're actually going in and launching this, utilizing the plugin for marketing, again, it's just provided me some more questions to run through. Is this a new gather product? So look, it's actually remembered who I am. I can then say, yes, it's a new product or a feature. Who's the primary target for this? I can say, right, HR and talent leaders, for instance. What's your preferred campaign live timeline? Yeah, let's go for a standard one. I want to go completely organic. And then it's going to start building all of that stuff out for me. So it's an incredibly powerful tool due to the questions that it asks you. Another really powerful thing outside of just the actual plugins that you can do is actually connecting it to the tools that you're using. Now, this I think is probably one of the best features out there because you can connect it up to things like Slack, you can connect it up to your CRM system that you do, you can connect it up to Gmail, so it can start drafting emails for you. It won't send them, so it won't actually just go on and start banging out emails for you. So it's unlike, for instance, OpenClaw that kind of runs a little bit wild. It does have really strong guardrails on it. So I think it's going to be quite a good starting point for a lot of different businesses, particularly private equity businesses, VC funds and things like that, who are going to want to have some specific security or guardrails on it. So it's not just spamming emails out to absolutely everybody. But I think connectors is probably one of the most underused applications of Cowork as well. So again, the way to do this, head back over into this. Let's go into new task. I can then click on Claude. I want to go back into settings and then down to connectors. So once I've found connectors, you click on this section and find browse connectors. Now, once you click on this is where it gets really exciting because you can see just how many different things it can connect up to. Even things like Figma, Atlassian, HubSpot, Monday, Linear, Intercom, Gamma, Versal, an endless amount of them. This just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. And then all you have to do to add them onto it as well, I can just go, right, Gmail, I can say, right, okay, this is going to launch it directly into a Gmail, and then I can just connect it up here as well. I've already done a lot of this stuff on a separate account, so I'm just going to leave that as is for now. So yeah, it's a pretty incredible tool once you get it set up correctly. Okay, so it's not all good news. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, basically. It does have a few pitfalls. So firstly, there's still no cross-session memory. So every time there's a new co-working session, it has to start from scratch, basically. You can help this out by providing it with the global instructions and also a memory.md file as well. But how you have to kind of make sure you're consistently updating this, because I can then go into it and say, hey, I'm Harry, I'm 33 years old and I've built and sold a business. Like that might be great, but then in 3 years' time, it might still think I'm Harry Davis, 33 years old, and I've built and sold a business, but I've done quite a few other things by then as well. So you do have to have that human element of updating everything as you're going along with it. The second point as well is tasks always stop when you actually close the app. So yeah, you need to keep that open or just move it into a sleep mode because it can actually stay awake and can actually keep things going. Thirdly, complex tasks use up a lot of credits. Now, I'm on the Pro plan. You can just get set up on the Pro plan to start off with. It's only $20 a month. If you are hitting your limits, you can then move up to the max plans, which range from $100 to $200 a month as well. But the only time I've actually started to hit a wall is when I was using it for Claude Code, and I was actually just coding with it, building websites and things like that. And that's when I was reaching my limit pretty quickly. Within Cowork itself, I haven't reached the limit just yet, but I haven't spent enough time really kind of pushing the limits of it. And I don't know how many credits it's going to be using as and when it's linked up to all of these different connections and applications and tools. So I'll do some more deep diving and see how far I get on the Pro plan, but the likelihood is I'll be updating to Max plan pretty soon. So I think that's pretty much summed up exactly how to actually set up Claude Cowork. As I said, it's a really, really strong, powerful tool that I think is going to add a lot of value to so many different people and a lot of different businesses. And there's some huge opportunities in the market to help these companies get set up with AI internally as well. But if you do want to get started today, just head over to claude.com/download and then just download the app and then start playing around with it as well. I do have a free guide that I can then just drop a link into the comments below, so you can go and find that. It'll be in the description anyway, or you can just head over to my LinkedIn page. There'll be a simple link in the description as well, so you can find it from there. And yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and please do hit the subscribe button and the like button in order to see any further videos that I'm going to be publishing about either growing a business or how you can then implement AI into your daily workflows. Cheers.